We are on.
Okay. We all ready? Marvelous. Sarah. Pull up my agenda. Okay, let's go ahead and call this regular meeting of the Santa Fe Public Schools Board of Education to order. Welcome, everybody. It's really good to see you. 2021. We will start, as ever, with the Pledge of Allegiance and salute to the New Mexico flag in English and in Spanish. Anybody feeling inspired to lead one or both of these?
Do the Spanish.
Okay. I'll go ahead and do the English. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Juro fidelidad a la bandera de los Estados Unidos de América y a la república que representa una nación bajo Dios, indivisible, con libertad y justicia para todos.
I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Saludo la bandera del Estado de Nuevo México, el símbolo Zia de amistad perfecta entre culturas unidas.
And then the acknowledgement of tribal land. We acknowledge the original people of the land, the Tesuque Pueblo people and other tribal nations, and ask them to walk with us today as we share and learn together. Thank you very much. We will now move on to the approval of the agenda. Dr. Garcia, do we need to change anything?
Not that I'm aware of, Madam President.
Great. Okay, is there a motion?
I move approval.
Thank you very much. Dr. Gonzalez, is there a second?
I will second that.
Thank you very much, Board Member Bose. As ever, we will do a roll call vote. And I should have probably said at the beginning that all members are present with the exception of Vice President Price, who is excused. So a roll call vote on the agenda. We will say Secretary Garcia.
Yes, Madam President.
Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Board Member Bose.
Yes.
And the president votes yes. We have approved the agenda. Thank you. Moving on to item number 2 on tonight's agenda, our executive session. Secretary Garcia.
Madam Chair, I'm going to try this a little bit totally under the weather, but item number 2, executive session, I'd like to make a motion to take the Board of Education into executive session. Item A is discussion of the purchase, acquisition, or disposal of real property, which is the Vista de la Sierra Development land donation, and also item B, collective bargaining.
Thank you very much, Secretary Garcia. I'll go ahead and second that. And we'll do a roll call vote. Secretary Garcia.
Yes, Madam
Dr.
President.
Gonzalez. Dr. Gonzalez? Sorry, you were muted.
Yes. Sorry.
Board Member Bose?
Yes.
And the president votes yes. We are now going into executive session, and we will return to this regular open session right around 5:30. Thank you all very much, and I'll see you in the other virtual room.
access code followed by the pound or hash sign. If you are the host, press star now. Otherwise, please enter your PIN followed by the pound or hash. If you do not know your PIN,
It's 5:30. I see Secretary Garcia, Dr. Gonzalez, Dr. Garcia. Lynn Heffron on the move? No, not on the move anymore. Hi, Lynn. Welcome. Give it a moment for Board Member Bozay to join us. Well, I'm sure she'll be here. Any moment. Well, let's go ahead, given that we do have a quorum. Go ahead and come back in if you're up for it, Secretary Garcia.
Madam President, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to take us out of executive session where we discuss the purchase, acquisition, or disposal of real property, which is the Visa de Sierra Development land donation, and item B, collective bargaining, and where no action was taken.
Thank you very much. There's a motion. I'll go ahead and second, and we'll do a roll call vote. Secretary Garcia,
Yes.
Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Oh, here she is.
Here I
Welcome.
am. Sorry
There you
about that.
are. No worries. Welcome back. And we're just voting on Secretary Garcia's motion, my second, to come out of executive session. And it's your turn to vote.
Yes, I vote in favor of coming back from executive session.
Thank you. And the president also votes yes. So we are now officially back in the regular session. Moving on to item 3 on our agenda, introduction of interpreter. Dr. Garcia.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Para servicio de traducción en español, marque 701-802-5152, número de acceso 4277932 #. Por favor, mantenga su teléfono en silencio durante la traducción. Gracias.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Moving on to Roman numeral 4 on our agenda, our school board showcase, starting with it's 2 from Capitol High today, but starting with the Capitol High School Band. And I see Ms. Pickerel. Dr. Garcia, are you going to start off?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. And as you mentioned, we have the Capitol High School Band. Ms. Pickerel will introduce this presentation.
Thank you and Happy New Year. Tonight, I present the Capitol High School Band and band member Manuel Bojorquez, who earned a position in the 2021 All-State Band on tuba. Everything started to change for Manuel when he started taking lessons from Jackie Ellers through the Dream Big program, sponsored by the Santa Fe Chamber Music Festival. The partnership provides a subsidized lesson program so that students have the opportunity to get one-on-one weekly instruction on their instrument. Since the start of this program, we have had more students earning positions in the all-state ensembles. Rick Hernandez is the director, and he has worked in the district for 4 years. The Capitol Band received superior ratings at the music performance assessment, and several students earned positions in the North Central New Mexico Music Educators Honor Band. Please enjoy.
Was that the end of the video, Ms. Pickrell? Ah, here we go.
And thank you very much.
It was wonderful. Thank you.
Great fun. Well done.
Well done.
Madam President, if I may real quick.
Go ahead, Secretary Garcia.
Manuel Borraquez, I think that's how you say his last name. Very excellent job. Wow, very talented young individual. And especially the entire band. It was great that we could put Zoom together and put them all together, and they all sounded really great. So thank you, Capital High School. Appreciate that. Just really quick, the three gentlemen that were on the bottom row, it looked like they were kind of they haven't graduated yet. It looked like they're a little bit older.
Yeah, that was the instructor.
Oh, I was gonna say.
That's Mr.
But no,
Hernandez.
But excellent job for Manuel and especially the Capital High School band. Thank you, and President.
Thank you very much.
And the principal, yeah, hi, Jamie
Yes,
Holiday.
Miss Holiday.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's always good to see you, Ms. Pickerel. Thanks for being here. And I'm with Secretary Garcia. Those mixes, I just continue to be in awe of how well you've got them working, because it sounds good, like they're playing together. Can't be easy. Moving on, in our continued appreciation of Capital High School and the leadership of Ms. Holiday, glad to have you here. We have our second item on the school board showcase, the Capital High School Congressional App Challenge. Dr. Garcia.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Joining us tonight are the Capital High School team that was selected by the Congressman Ben Ray Lujan as winner of the 2020 Congressional App Challenge. And Associate
Senator.
Now Senator, thank you for the correction. Associate Superintendent Larry Chavez will be introducing this segment.
Good evening, everyone. Board President Noble, members of the board, Superintendent Garcia. It's my great pleasure to introduce Ms. Tetzeritz and also Principal Jamie Holiday to talk a little bit about the app award that her students from Capital High School won. Ms. Holiday, do you have a few words?
Yes, thank you so much for having us. We are just so proud of Ms. T and our students, their dedication and their passion for computers and for technology, as well as the different mentors that work regularly with our school. And so we realize that our success, it's not, an insular success, it's a community success. And we're very thankful for our community members that consistently show up and support our teachers and our students. So thank you all so much. Ms. T and our group of students will be able to go into more detail about the challenge itself. I just wanted to express my gratitude to all of you and to our community. So thank you all.
And we do have some of the students, so if you wouldn't mind turning on your cameras and talking a little bit about this app.
I don't know if Mr. Chavez is breaking up for anybody else. He's breaking up for me, but I think I got the gist of it, which was inviting the students involved in the app challenge to please turn on your cameras and talk to us. We're very happy you're here.
Mr. Chavez, I don't know if they're on a different panel because I don't see an opportunity for a second panel. And I don't see anyone that's not staff on this screen. I don't see an option for a screen too. Are they on? Okay. Is Zach Birch maybe one of the students? I don't know.
He is, and I just got kicked out, so they may be having some problems as well. Josh?
I'm not hosting right now, Dr. G, but
Alma is. Alma?
Zach and Josh, are you able to turn on your mics?
Have the students, have the students been admitted?
Yeah, and there's Mrs. T as well.
mm-hmm.
Yes, they're all there, Dr. Garcia.
Mrs. T, we just introduced you and your group. Can you say a few words about it?
Yes, hello everybody. Let me start the video. Oh, here I am. Hello everybody. Thank you so much for having us here. So Christopher, I see you. Let me only check attendance. I have to be sure that all I hear. I don't see all the participants. Joshua, are you here? Boys, Joshua, Christopher, and Zach, please turn on the camera. Excellent. Thank you so much, Zach. Thank you, Joshua. Thank you, Christopher. Okay, so now we are here for sure. I see you. So again, thank you so much for having us here. We appreciate it. I am Barbara Teteric from Capital High School, the Intro to Computer Science teacher. And here I am with those 3 great students who are working with me hard this semester, even on Sundays. So we were meeting many times, and it started with actually thanks to Sherry Kaufman, the chair of the science department in our district. She asked me if I would like to participate in the Governor STEM Challenge. And when I read the topic, it really interested me a lot because I used to work on this Solar Age project. It was like a video presentation about global warming and renewable energy for several years in my computer applications class. And since I already have this video presentation, I thought that maybe if I have any interested students that would like to work with me on this project and expand it and also write some apps and program, then I would do that. And those 3 brave students joined me, and we were working very hard, and I would like them now to talk about it, to talk about their experience. So let's start with the captain of the team, Senior Christopher Mendoza.
Yeah, my name is Christopher Mendoza, and like Miss Barbara said, I am a senior in Capitol High School, and just being captain of this team has really shown me how much potential us as students at Capitol have. You know, I have teammates in I think junior and both junior and sophomore year, and it's kind of really interesting how we can all put together our own perspectives on global change, global climate change, and just changing the world in general together, and how amazing we've made this project so far.
Joshua?
Hi, I'm Joshua. I am a junior at Capitol High School, and I've just been cooperating with the team, and I've been learning a lot through the process of creating the app that we created, and yeah, that's it.
And Zach?
Hi, my name is Zachariah Birch, and I am a sophomore at Capitol High School. I found it quite fun to learn more advanced Python than I was currently learning. And I've been learning a lot throughout this project and learning more about the members on my team.
And we also had opportunity to meet and talk to Senator Ben Lujan. And it was an incredible experience. He was very proud of the students. We will be presenting this project to a very big audience, like in April, from what I remember, right, boys? So no, this project continues, and we also will continue learning more. Actually, this is not the end. We will continue working with retired electrical engineer from Silicon Valley. We were blessed to also have mentor, and he helped us write this mathematical formula. So boys, like Christopher, would you like, I mean, it's hard to hear you, Christopher, but let's try maybe, would you like to talk a little bit about this model from David?
Yeah, let me see if I can grab my headset real quick and see if that makes sense.
While we're waiting for Christopher, it was part of my announcements, but I'll go ahead and mention it right now that each student on the winning team took $500, correct, on this challenge. And the team also won $5,000. So the cash awards were really great. And it's just super exciting. Congratulations.
So this $5,000, this is the maximum that the team can win. And there are 10 students in the team. Since there are 3 students with me, so each of them got $500. And they were incredibly surprised. And I was so happy.
So awesome. And we want to thank, the sponsors of this, PNM, was sponsored by PNM, while you all were sponsored by PNM, correct? But go ahead, Christopher.
Can you guys hear me better now? Yeah.
Yes,
okay.
way better.
Okay. Well, what Ms. T was saying, yeah, we have been working on this model with this retired engineer, and it's really just a solar panel that tracks the sun. There's different types. We've talked about 3 in specific. There's roof mounts, ground mounts, and there's trackers, and that's what we're building right now. And it's just a really small panel hooked up with some with an Arduino and some cogs that allow it to turn and sense the sun. And as the time of the day passes, it kind of tracks that sun, and we've seen that when it's at 90 degrees, that's the peak of its input of energy, like the greatest amount it gets from the sun. And really, we've been working on understanding more about it and seeing how we can not only use it on a larger scale, like increasing the size of the PV panel, but also using it for things such as, we talked from a person that's part of PNM that on some reservations, for example, they use it for like their water heater or stuff like that.
That's terrific.
I don't know how much time you would like to give us, and I don't know if Christopher would be able to present this app that we work on together, because we are not used to Zoom. So I actually, do not know. I mean, I see this share screen at the bottom, but it won't take so long. Would you like Christopher to try?
Sure, please go ahead. It's an honor to have, frankly, real live students. We sometimes get teachers and principals, and that's always nice, and other staff members, but really it's all about the students, and we're truly very glad you're all here. So please go ahead.
Thank you so much. So Christopher, try if you could show our JavaScript app and talk about it, please.
Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Yeah. Okay. So this is our app. It just consists of different values from what the user inputs in regards to our zip code. So here we ask the user to put in their daily electricity usage in kilowatts and their daily electricity costs, which as a PNM customer, you can easily find that on your bill. And for example, we'll just do 10 kilowatts. That costs them around $5 per day. and we get all these other values. And when inputting, the max they can go is, I think if I remember correctly, 50 on the electricity usage, because we were mostly aiming at this zip code, which consists of smaller, more residential homes. Once they input that, we just multiply that by 365, and then we get or we multiply it by every day in the year, and we get their annual usage and cost, which also then puts these values into a giant list that compares these values to just the different size of the system. And once it finds it, it tells you what exact size of system you need. And then from there, from the system that you need, it tells you how much it produces each year, and then the price of that system, and then the net price, which is the total price minus the federal and state tax credits. And then from there, it just tells you how many years it will approximately take to pay off for the entire system.
Wish I had my electric bill handy.
Yeah.
That's
Very
so
cool.
cool. Very nice.
Any questions? Yeah, go ahead, Secretary
Super cool.
Garcia.
First of all, thank you, students, for doing this. Senator Lujan, great job that he's participating in this, and he's going to do good for the state of New Mexico. And for you gentlemen and the teacher to actually talk with Senator Lujan, and for him to give you his time, because very, very busy man, especially during these times. You guys should be proud that you got to talk to a senator, because every state has 2 senators or 100 senators, and that's awesome. You guys got to talk to him. And in regards to the Silicon Valley individual, that's so impressive that you actually are talking and dealing with an individual that's retired engineer from Silicon Valley. Taking advantage of all this stuff, because it's here for a short time. And great job, for all the mentors, the parents, the community, the students. And one of the things is, don't be shy, speak up. You guys are young and you have a lot of stuff in here, and talk, let it out, because obviously they're watching you guys, so just do good and speak up for what you think is right, because you guys are doing an excellent job, and I appreciate that. Ms. Holiday, Barbara, great job. Some good students here. Appreciate you, hard work that you do with these students, because it takes a lot of time and energy. And in regards to the solar panels, I was watching something on PBS the other night where they have solar panels on a lake. I think it goes back east somewhere, where they have these floating solar panels that float within the lake. So it's always not just on buildings, but you can put them on water, so on and so forth. And just congratulations, guys. Please speak up. Do good for yourselves. Make New Mexico proud. Make Capitol proud. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Gonzalez.
I too want to congratulate the students. That's a great accomplishment. We have solar panels, so I need that app.
Dr. Garcia.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Congratulations, students. You're just so impressive. And, you know, your demonstration, I think, is a great example for the board. I know that President Noble, I think it was your first year on the board, was it not? When you brought the computer science, I can't remember what it was branded at the time. The name escapes me of that resolution. But computer science has really just continued to grow by leaps and bounds in our district. And I think it's one of our best kept secrets that we have kids coding at all ages. But to see the sophisticated applications is really impressive. I want to thank Barbara Tesseritz for your work, because when you take on a team into competitions, it takes a lot of time and extra effort. And thank you for doing that. You've been very consistent in doing this extra sort of work on behalf of your students. So our hats are off to you, and also Ms. Holliday for your leadership at Capitol High. Great things are coming out of that school, and you students really exemplify the very best of the Santa Fe Public Schools. Go Jaguars. I'm sure you've made your school, our district, and hopefully your families very proud of you, and your future looks super bright. Very excited to see our students producing this level of work. So congratulations. I hope you're proud.
Thank
So-
you.
And I just want to add my voice as well and say congratulations. And there are really incredible things coming out of Capitol. And Christopher, that was a really good explanation. Many, many years ago, we did an app challenge for an economic development project. And honestly, nothing was as good as this. And one of the hardest parts was getting people to explain the app concisely and clearly, and you did an extraordinary job there. And not only is this app clearly a good app, as is recognized by the award and the recognition, but it's helping save the world and the planet. So, when all these things come together, that's even better. So congratulations to all of you. Thank you, Ms. T, for your work on weekends and clearly above and beyond, and to all of you students for the commitment. And Board Member Bozé, yes, you want to share a few words?
Thank you. I have, of course, wanted to say how awesome this is and congratulations to the team. I always think, many of you know about my 3 young school-age children, but I also have a 23-year-old daughter. And so watching her experiences, she went through a technology high school in Florida. And one of the things that I always tried to hammer home to her was, that's great. What are you going to do with it? Like, it's really cool to have these things in our head, but when you see the brilliant things you're learning applied in really, really awesome ways, that's the real success. And so kudos to you. As Secretary Garcia said, you're already making us proud. You're doing wonderful things, and keep it up. The world definitely needs you.
Okay, well, thank you all. And thank you so much, Ms. Holliday and Mr. Chavez, for your leadership. We applaud you. We have to do it sort of silently on Zoom because, you can't get all the applause together without April Pickerel and helping mix it or something like that. But thank you. And it's really great to have you here, and keep it up and, come back and tell us about your next thing.
So thank you so much again. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that I jumped. I just only want to thank you all for your time and for praising us, and just let us know. So we should leave the meeting now?
You are free. I mean, you're certainly welcome to stay and watch school board business, but we would also certainly say you're welcome to go at this point too. So
thank you so much. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you guys. Good night.
Take care.
Thank you.
Good night.
Okay, well, that's always fun. Moving along to Roman numeral 5, union update. Do we have anyone here to update us from the union? I don't see Ms. Mayer. Dr. Garcia, you're muted, it looks like.
Sorry, Madam President, I didn't hear from her today, but I do know that they have NEA board meetings on Thursday nights. And so that's probably why we don't have an update this tonight.
Okay. Okay, Roman numeral 6 on our agenda, public forum. Dr. Garcia.
Thank you, Madam President. And my understanding is that we didn't have any. Is that still correct, Mr. Donarski?
Superintendent Garcia, that is correct.
So we have no one for public forum tonight.
Okay, thanks for being here, Mr. Donarski. Moving swiftly along, we have board announcements and follow-up. Anything to say on a CRC update? Ms. Bozé?
Madam President, next week we will have a meeting. We haven't had a meeting since our last board meeting. We were off after our early December board meeting. So we will be meeting next Wednesday prior to the study session with the board on Thursday night next week, just to kind of finalize the recommendations. I mean, they were honed down, but there's not really any update since our last meeting.
Thank you. Any other board announcements and follow-up? Okay, again, moving swiftly along to superintendent announcements and follow-up. Dr. Garcia.
Yes, thank you, Madam President, members of the board. And wasn't that nice to see the kids? That was just made my whole week. That was so nice. Tonight, I want to recognize one of our corporate partners on behalf of Deputy Superintendent Sink and the CNI team and everyone in the district. We want to thank Mr. Michael Miller, and here he is. Thank you and welcome, Mr. Miller. He is with Savas Learning Company. We want to thank him for his diligent efforts to ensure that Santa Fe Public Schools had timely access to Algebra 2 and geometry instructional materials. His continuous dedication to Santa Fe Public Schools instructional practices ensured that digital pilot licenses were provisioned for the district for its Algebra 2 and geometry courses. Previously, Mr. Miller was a Santa Fe Public Schools teacher for a number of years before joining Savas. In addition to being readily available for consultation regarding the recent adoption of math materials, he has provided professional development for our teachers and ensured access to online portals for tutors. But I believe, Ms. Sink, that he really helped us out to bridge a gap, correct? And I don't think that's caught here in these notes.
And
So would
that's
you talk to that, please?
Sure. I think everybody realizes that we've had a really difficult time with funds this year, and the instructional materials are well over $1 million. And so we had to cut back a little bit and wait and see how our funds were moving along. And Mr. Miller was so great in providing a portal so that the teachers at the very beginning got the teachers on of the Algebra 2, we were able to get all the Algebra 1 new materials. This is all brand new materials. Instructional materials are very expensive, but he got the teachers on for free. And then when we let him know that it was still going to be till probably February before we could do this with some more funds coming in, he was very nice about allowing us to have now the students go into this same portal and be able to use those instructional materials. And this has been free to us, to Santa Fe Public Schools. So at that time, I told Dr. Garcia about that, and all he has done for us, and I realize he's still a vendor, if you will, but I think because he is from Santa Fe, that he's taught in Santa Fe, he has done everything he has in his power to help us. And that includes all the professional development for these materials. He's been working now with me and Melissa Lomax and the team for these past, 4.5 years. And we just couldn't be luckier. So that's why I wanted you all to know him.
So if you'd like to say a few words, Mr. Miller, but for the bottom of our hearts, we so appreciate what you've done for our students in our district.
Dr. Garcia, Madam President and Board, thank you so much. I'm also a former Jaguar. Santa Fe Public Schools is close to my heart. Born and raised here, was a Jaguar, started working at Sweeney Elementary as a teacher. So anything I can do for the district, I will do whatever it takes to take care of the students and teachers of Santa Fe Public Schools. So I appreciate this recognition.
We'll be sending a certificate your way. So virtually, we're giving you a certificate of appreciation on behalf of the board and the district. Actually, do you have it, Sabra? Nope. Okay.
Secretary Garcia.
Yes.
So really quick, Miller, you're the gentleman that races cars, right?
Yes, sir.
So get this, ladies and gentlemen. Do you know where you're talking to? This guy here? he's done an excellent job, and he obviously does a lot of volunteer work, and he's making it happen, and he's working with our students. This gentleman here, Miller, he's actually a race car driver. He races drag racing, and he's actually in the last 2-3 years ago, he was #1 in the nation.
Oh,
for
wow.
racing.
Wow.
Oh, he's #1 in the nation for racing. I believe it's Super Gas is the company. But this guy has his car dialed in. He goes to Denver. He goes back east. He goes to Texas. He goes to Kansas, and he's #1. He's #1
Wow.
in
We
the
need
United
to have you come talk to the Capitol High students.
Right?
Absolutely. Well, I'll just move. There's all my Wallies, Rudy.
I know. Great job, Miller. You do an excellent job, and but I just want to let everybody know this guy he's #1 in the nation for racing cars. Well, on his category, which is excellent. But great job. I appreciate everything you do for the schools. You and I have talked in the past 1.5 years, and thank you for what you do. Appreciate it. Thank you, Miller.
I appreciate you.
You always have this interesting information about people. It's like, oh, that was fascinating.
He's actually, I'm serious. He's #1 in the nation. Like, it's like out of Santa Fe, New Mexico.
Wow.
Madam President, Ms. Romero wanted to add something or ask
Yes,
something.
please, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President and Dr. Garcia, members of the board. I did text Linda during her speech. I'm sorry. I just wanted to also thank Mr. Miller for allowing us access to the Savas materials for the volunteers.
That's right, because we didn't have money for the licenses for these materials, for the online teaching. And if it weren't for you, Mr. Miller, they would have not been able to tutor those higher level courses in math. So thank you so much. I forgot about that too. So we really appreciate it very, very much.
It's important to have the volunteers have the access to the material so they can support this.
Hallelujah. Well, it sounds like there's all around commitment, dedication, and interesting things going on. So thank you so much for being here. We appreciate you hugely.
Very much so. Thank you again. We have an amazing community, and Mr. Miller is one example of that. And all the people that engage with the Santa Fe Public Schools, we have built such amazing relationships, and one that's near and dear to our heart, and one of the first people that I worked with when I came back as superintendent is Lynn Heffron. And Lynn is with the Interfaith Coalition for Public Education. And on behalf of the Santa Fe Public Schools and our volunteer program, we want to offer you our heartfelt thanks from the Interfaith our heartfelt thanks. She's leaving our volunteer family after being awarded the opportunity. She's going to be teaching an online course at the Institute for American Indian Arts, including dual enrollment students from Albuquerque's Native American Community Academy. And but she still will be volunteering. She's just not going to be tutoring and doing that work. And that took a lot of time. And she really spearheaded a lot of that. But we're very fortunate that she's going to continue serving our community on the Interfaith Coalition as on the Superintendent's Equity, Diversity, and Engagement Council. And her input there is invaluable. Her service includes working tirelessly to serve and support volunteers, teachers, and students at multiple schools throughout the district, supporting teachers with volunteer tutors at Santa Fe High and Sweeney, and supporting Mandela International Magnet School, Piñon, and many more. She's played an intricate part in developing our volunteer program and has worked with district staff to offer support and training to all volunteers in the district. On behalf of our volunteer coordinator, and here you are, Sabra, do you want to go ahead and tell her that how you feel about her leaving? I know she's not happy.
Sorry, I was having trouble getting unmuted. Dr. Garcia, thank you. President Noble, members of the board. Lynn was one of the first volunteers that I met when I came into this position. And she has been extremely dedicated and supportive of the program, of the district, of the students, of me, of the teachers. It's a huge loss to the program. And I really wanted everybody to know that. And I wanted Lynn to know how much I appreciate her. And although I'm very excited about your new opportunity, you will be missed, and there will be a hole that will never be filled.
You know, Lynn's just one of those special people that has such a positive attitude and is very encouraging. And just, you know, she's the wind beneath our wings in so many of the things that we've done. And so, Lynn, we just want you to know how much you're going to be missed. And I'm so happy that you're going to stay on with the Equity and Diversity Council.
Thank
Lynn,
you very much. Thank you.
Lynn, if you want to say a few words, please.
Yeah, of course. President Noble and Superintendent Garcia and Ms. Sabra and Linda Sink and others, whom I've worked with closely over 5 or 6 years now. I mean, it's amazing to know that we have, first of all, so many community members out there who want to help our students. They volunteer their time, they dedicate their efforts morning, noon, and night in many cases, including now with a homework hotline, to help students and to tutor them and to also not just worry about academic achievement, but whole person achievement, mental health, well-being for our students. And I find that to be something that has been particularly rewarding to myself as well. And I think probably understanding how many students we've been able to help with I don't know, Sabra, maybe 50 tutors or more over time now. Online tutoring, as we all know, is not so easy, just like teaching online is not. On the other hand, we're moving forward and looking forward to helping more students. And I certainly want to stay involved with you. It's hard to follow Michael Miller. I've never driven a race car, so I can barely get in my own car and do errands now, right? So that's a hard act to follow. I will let you know, one of the things I continue to do is I'm a delegate to the United Nations Commission on the Status of Women. And as part of that, I advocate for women and girls around the world, not only to protect them from human trafficking and domestic violence, but also to improve their educational benefits worldwide. So I'm trying to stay in tune with Santa Fe and the community, as well as a broader macro network. Thank you all very much. Thanks, Sabra. Dr. Garcia. Thanks. And Kate, yes, thank you.
Thank you, Lynn. It's so good to see you, and kind of heartbreaking. Didn't quite expect this, but it's great that you will continue to be involved. We're not losing you entirely. And of course, these things have to evolve, and that's what happens with life. And they're lucky to have you in your new role. And thank you for all you've done and will continue to do. You have been tireless in your work on behalf of the Santa Fe Public Schools, and it is a huge act to follow, and hopefully we will find folks who can at least come close to what you've done in the future. But you've done so much for us, and it is really just a huge honor to have had your effort and your passion and your love and all your work. Thank you.
I want to say one more thing, which I think is needed here, is that, you know, as part of the American Association of University Women New Mexico, of which I'm co-president, we continue to award year after year now scholarships to the 6 girls who graduated from Santa Fe High School in 2019. They are continuing to get awards every year. With this month, we are awarding for the first time scholarships to girls who have graduated from Capitol High School who are at Santa Fe Community College and happen to be moms. So we're going to continue to support them financially and continue to award scholarships to the schools here in Santa Fe. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Godspeed,
Secretary
Lynn.
Garcia.
Thanks.
Really just, Lynn, thank you for what you've done for the public schools. With individuals like you, people out there don't realize volunteers like you, it keeps our community going. So I thank you for that. As a hard act to follow, Miller actually has his own little thing that and you're a hard act to follow because, you actually are so involved in the community and so involved with the schools and the students. So it's going to be hard to fill your shoes, but however, thank you for what you've done. And I
You're welcome.
appreciate it.
I'll be advocating for more educational dollars. Don't worry.
Okay, we're good. Thank you, though. Good luck in your next endeavors.
Thanks. Thanks to all of you.
Thank you, Lynn. Next on my announcements, there was a question from the board on enrollment decline disaggregated by reason. On December 10th, we received a request from PED to identify the whereabouts of 547 students. Of those 547 who were originally noted on December 16th, all but 7 have been found. Please note that 3 of them were siblings from the same family, which is pretty miraculous that we found all but 7. A large portion of the students were disenrolled for moving out of district or disenrolled private or disenrolled charter. They did not provide me the breakdown on those numbers. I apologize. A significant portion of the high school students who withdrew for non-attendance were over the age of 18 and did not require parent approval. Once they get to 18, they can withdraw. And so I'm not certain why I don't have all of the breakdown here, but I can provide it to you via email if you would like those exact numbers. Gonzalez teacher Adriana Montoya received first place teacher award from the Veterans of Foreign Affairs, post 2951. And Ms. Adriana Montoya, a 6th grade science and math teacher at Gonzalez Community School and a girls coach at Capitol High, received the first place teacher award. She said, this award means everything to me as my grandpa Montoya and great grandpa Pena were both World War II veterans, and my mom was a member of the Army Reserve. Her great grandfather was also a teacher, receiving his bachelor's of ed at New Mexico Highlands, where Ms. Montoya will receive a master's in education. So congratulations to Ms. Adriana Montoya. Santa Fe Public Schools received a CARES Act funding for additional air purifiers. $295,000 was awarded to our district for additional air purifiers. And although the classrooms we use for hybrid learning meet the state's requirements for air quality, the additional air purifiers will even further improve the air quality and safety for students and staff above required levels. So we're very happy about that. Another recognition for Santa Fe Public Schools and our staff in the Curriculum and Instruction Department led by Ms. Zink is this is the 2nd year that we've been selected to work with the Public Ed Department Priority Schools Bureau in the new teacher mentoring program. And the fact that we have been involved with that, all brand new teachers have access to Mr. Doug Lamo's Teach Like a Champion and will receive 3 training sessions from the Teach Like a Champion company in 2021. All 6 mentors, Ms. Amanda Berkebile, Ms. Ann Porterfield, Ms. Janine Westpaul, Ms. Marcia Allen, Ms. Rosemary Grego, and Ms. Vanessa Angel assign and teach practice strategies from the Teach Like a Champion online with their individual caseload of new teachers on a weekly basis. The new teacher program new mentoring program is currently supporting 39 brand new teachers in our district. It's also supporting 28 second-year teachers from last year's cohort. Ms. Angel is currently teaching dossier classes to 75 teachers who are preparing to advance their licenses from level 1 to 2 or level 2 to 3 in May of 2021. And this is something that a lot of people aren't aware of the support that are given to new teachers, and the fact that we've been asked to be a part of that with the public ed department speaks volumes, I think, for the quality of the staff. So congratulations, Ms. Zink and your team, and please offer them our congratulations.
I will
And
do.
that concludes my my announcements.
Thank you very much. Yes, Secretary Garcia.
Madam President, Superintendent, your team, I don't want to mention them all because there's a lot of them, but you have a great team. And it's actually feel good to be on the Santa Fe School Board of Education because you guys are on top of it. And so I just really appreciate that because you're ahead of the curve and you're doing what you need to do. Sometimes I get a little bit of a feedback and so I throw it back at them and say, you know what? No, look at what we're doing. Look what we're doing. And you know, people don't realize public schools nationwide is very challenging. And but here in Santa Fe, we're doing an excellent job. I feel we are. And it takes a little while to get going, get it going. But I appreciate you and your entire staff, everybody. So thank you for what you do. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. We do have a great team.
Most certainly do. Okay, moving on the agenda to our presentation. Review of reentry, spring 2021 school year highlights. Dr. Garcia.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. This evening, Associate Superintendents Vanessa Romero and Larry Chavez will be making the presentation as we give an overview of some highlights for this spring in terms of grading, the hybrid survey, options for our senior class, and so on. So Ms. Romero, Mr. Chavez, take it away.
Right, good evening. Let me share my screen and then we'll get started. All right. Great, so good evening, Board President Noble, members of the board, Superintendent Garcia. Associate Superintendent Romero and I will be taking you through some of the highlights for the spring and also giving you some updated information as far as what we're doing district-wide and also with our seniors. I know that's a very important topic right now. So Ms. Romero.
Good evening, President Noble, members of the board, Superintendent Garcia. As Mr. Chavez said, we've worked with all departments in the district to collaborate and ensure that we're doing what's best for kids and students and families. And part of that work was providing a survey to staff that participated in hybrid for the 3 weeks in the fall. We wanted to hear from them about their concerns, what worked well, and their challenges. So out of 166 people that participated in the hybrid learning, we received 89 responses. So that was great feedback. And one of the questions on the survey was, during hybrid teaching and learning, what worked well and why? And these are just high-level pieces, but you said they loved the face-to-face instruction and on-site technology support. They liked the alignment of the hybrid and the remote schedules, and it was easy to teach both and having a set schedule. The protocols and procedures with facilities and maintenance were excellent from the wellness department, having signage around the buildings. And then they commented on the leadership and communication. The fact that we did walkthroughs with site principals before hybrid started, the weekly meetings that we had with principals just to get their feedback to see how things were going. On the flip side, we also wanted to hear about their challenges. And it was interesting because some staff said that it was easy to teach to both hybrid and remote. And then some staff did say that it was difficult to manage both remote and hybrid learning. They are requesting some additional devices such as an extra monitor or microphones for the audio. And they had to adjust their lessons and the pacing. Another was that there weren't enough staff volunteers, so teachers and volunteers that were on staff had to take on extra duties. And some schools only had one teacher on site during hybrid. protocols and procedures. They just said it was very hard to social distance from students. You build close relationships with your kids and you want to get close, and so they said that was difficult. And of course, reminding students to keep their masks on.
Madam President, oh, there you go.
And then yesterday, we had a town hall for all the staff that participated in hybrid, which was really exciting because 102 staff participated in this town hall that we had yesterday out of the 166 people that participated in hybrid learning. And just some of the areas and questions that were addressed were, questions about when are we coming back? What does surveillance testing look like, and the vaccine requirements? Discussions again about technology support. Teachers wanting to make sure that when they come back, there's support to set up workstations in the classroom. They also asked about professional development and if we will continue. And then just re-entry protocols.
What we've also started doing is.
So Larry, before we go on to this slide, let's go back to the next one. This is appropriate to share at this time. We met with them, we had a discussion about when we would come back, and I made a commitment that I would announce by Friday, which is January the 8th, about returning back in hybrid. According to the guidelines by PED and the Department of Health, a school that opened in hybrid prior to the second shutdown are able to come back regardless if you're in yellow, red, or green. Your color in your community really isn't an issue. However, I shared with the faculty and staff yesterday that these two new variants of coronavirus that seem to be in the United States now from England and Africa. I'm not sure if the one from Africa has been identified yet, but appears to be more contagious and also appears to be impacting young people more so. When I told staff that I felt they were safe with the protocols we have in place, all the markings in the building, and I mean, we've gone over all of the safety things from air purifiers to plexiglass and whatnot. I don't know with this very contagious, more contagious variant, if we need, maybe it's no longer 6 feet of distance, maybe it's 8. I mean, I don't know. The science is still unclear. The data is still unclear. And we also know that we're on the precipice of more people being, all of us being vaccinated, right? We've already started with our most at-risk populations. Yesterday, or actually today, a letter was sent, and you should have gotten a copy. If you haven't yet, you should be getting it soon, of a letter that was signed by NEA President Grace Mayer and myself, asking the two secretaries from Public Ed Department and Department of Health to prioritize those who work firsthand with students, which would be teachers, EAs, nurses, well, all site-based personnel, nutrition services personnel, food services, transportation, and so on, to be considered essential workers and be, next priority for vaccination. My understanding is there is a move in that direction. So if, a large portion of our staff and faculty are vaccinated, it might make it more feasible to open sooner than later in a hybrid, probably still in a hybrid model until the infection numbers go down. I think that's going to be a bit. It's not going to be in the next 2 weeks for sure. So, and it probably won't even be in the next month. I promise that we will give everyone at least a 2 weeks notice. We would have to ascertain how many voluntary staff we have, and then go, and maybe we have additional people than who volunteered the last time, and then to find out how many families want to come back. before we're actually in green and open by the state, that everybody is back in school. So for now, we will continue with our hybrid model. We continue to make modifications to improve. Our next phase is looking at other hybrid models. We have a current hybrid model, but there are other hybrid models that are being used nationally that we want to take a look at that might be more effective. Maybe not, but we're exploring that. And so I just wanted to give that update to all of you regarding reentry. We will not be coming back in 2 weeks. Okay, so everyone can just know that we're staying with hybrid for right now. Go ahead.
Absolutely. So one of the hot topics across not only our state, but the nation is grading practices. So we've partnered with Creative Learning Solutions to really start to look at using priority standards and equitable grading practices. We're starting to talk and providing professional development, not only to our administrators, but also to our teachers about activities, are using activities for practice and really using assessments for understanding. And the example that we're giving them and that we've been talking about is, if you're in band and you're in class practicing your instrument, you wouldn't be graded on that practice. You would actually be graded on your performance during a stage performance. So again, we're starting to really look at grading practices and policies. We've created a small cohort of principals, district staff, and teachers to review our current grading practices throughout the district. And then we've made an adjustment to our secondary semester for our high schools. And we've also made a recommendation of no more than 2 graded assignments per class each week. Some of the changes for this year's graduating class, students meeting the course requirements for graduation during the 2021 school year may also be considered to have met their local demonstration of competency requirements. So what this is really getting at is we're really focusing with this senior class on making sure that they pass all their classes and earning those credits for graduation. And it's for this graduating class only, it's not going to be required for them to pass the state assessments. That has been waived. We did meet with all secondary principals and all counselors prior to the break, giving them these updates and also planning next steps so we can make sure that we have an individualized plan for each senior, really taking a look at the classes that they either have failed in the past or may be in jeopardy of not earning for the first semester, and getting a plan in place so they can meet those graduation requirements. They also are providing the option of giving the graduating class an extension into the summer, like we did this previous school year. Changes, assessments of place of seat time, and what that really means is if a student has failed a class first semester, for this example, is we can provide them an assessment rather than them having to repeat that class and sitting in that class for seat time. One of the things we developed last school year was developing out the online assessments through our open access, and we're providing those to our high schools to utilize, so they can use that almost like they're studying for the SAT or the ACT. So they're going to practice, they'll have a teacher assigned to them, and then when they're ready to take that assessment to really earn that credit for graduation, they'll have that opportunity. A couple of other options that we've talked to our high schools about is credit via job experience that connects to the curriculum, and also credit via designed and agreed upon series of assignments or work completed. This is a big change, and this is something that was really well received by our high schools and our counselors, the virtual experience. So if they took two classes in the first semester of this current school year and they passed it, then they earn 2 half credits. Those 2 half credits will be able to replace that requirement that you see on their state statute. And what that requirement is, every senior or every graduating student had to either earn credit in an AP, honors, adult credit, or a virtual distance learning class. And this actually allows them to replace that requirement. So it's if I passed Algebra 1 or Algebra 2 this first semester and I took health as well, and I passed that, then I earned that credit towards graduation, and I'm no longer required to take AP or honors, and I can actually excel into a program for graduation. And we'll stand for discussion and questions.
I do want to clarify just one thing. It's not an online versus dual credit. Or they had the 3 choices. They just don't have to go out of the district to take an online course. And then I also want to clarify, thank you to one of my staff members, I misspoke. I said we will remain in hybrid. I meant we will remain in remote learning. Had hybrid on the brain. So thank you to the staff person that helped me with that. We're ready for questions. Thank you, Mr. Chavez.
Secretary Garcia.
Mr. Chavez and Ms. Romero, excellent job. Appreciate you guys. This hybrid stuff is new to the nation, right? To our community. And one of the things is I appreciate you guys actually going and getting questions from the line staff that are actually out there doing that. And one of the main things that we all lack in this world because of this thing right here, this is a good device or a bad device. You can read a book or you can Snapchat all night long, but communication is very key in anything that we do. And for you all to go and communicate with the teachers that are doing this hybrid and asking questions, I think that's excellent. I appreciate that from both of you. Thank you. One thing that I don't know if I should bring up, but you don't have to give me an answer today, but sometimes I see kids that are at home and they sit on the couch and they don't show their picture. They're not live, but they say, hey, I'm here. And they're watching TV over here. They're doing this over here and they're doing their work. So I don't know if we can just look into should we actually make them live like we are live or not? You don't have to answer that, but that's just something like, I just sometimes feel like the communication with kids and their teachers are just like, do the assignment, we're done. So
Secretary Garcia, we've actually pushed out that initiative to ask the teachers and students to have their cameras on during class time. And if they're uncomfortable, they can put down the camera, maybe put a paper in front of it. But it's a way for us to engage with them and check in. So we've actually started that initiative at the end of last school year, and we're hoping to really see improvements in engagement by using that camera this second semester.
We also have improved because Google Meets now allows for a background. And so they can have a virtual background and we're not intruding into their homes. Because I know for some students, it was a privacy issue or for their families, or if you live in a real tight quarters, and you're sharing it with so many people in your home, it made it difficult. So the virtual background is a great alternative now where we can require. However, if students are in an area that have low bandwidth, they often will do better with their camera off so that they have a better connection. So there is that, but for the most part, we are highly, highly recommending it.
thank you, Madam President. Thank you guys. And Vanessa, not guys.
Did I say
Madam
anything, Dr.
President?
Gonzalez? Oh, sorry. Yeah, go ahead, Board Member Bose.
Two things quickly that I wanted to say to reiterate what Dr. Garcia just said regarding bandwidth. In our move that we made over the last 6 weeks, we are now in that situation of being in a low bandwidth area, and I've kept my camera off most of this meeting because of that exact reason. And I have 3 kids online who are experiencing the same thing. They can either hear their teacher or their teacher can see them, and that's what they're having to choose between. So that is still a challenge. And I encourage everyone just to continue to communicate with teachers and administrators at the school sites so that they're aware of this, because in my experience, they've been very receptive to that. And kudos to the team for this continual improvement process that you have in place. It's very important that this be happening when we're in this situation that none of us have been in before. So thank you for all of that hard work. And then my only question is if anyone is able to talk a little bit more about the process for getting teachers and staff vaccinated. I did see the letter that came through today that was sent along, but if there's just any more information that could be shared publicly for anyone that might be listening, I would appreciate that.
So we do encourage everyone, actually, whether you're in the public schools or not, to register to be vaccinated. And there is the link to that. I don't know if it's the link or the actual website.
The website
for-
is vaccinenm.org.
Thank you. And it's on our website. We also sent a letter out or an email from Anita Het. She had a family situation, so she's not here today, but that information was sent to faculty and staff. And then we'll have to wait and see. My understanding from our lead nurse is that because of our partnership with vaccinations with Albertsons, they're poised and ready, and they did already start vaccinating our school nurses, and they may have already all been vaccinated. Obviously, when we're looking at our staff, we would begin with people that actually work with kids at schools, but probably, with the over 65 population first, and then, going down the line. But we will follow DOH guidelines. I don't think we really get a lot of say in that. I should mention that Santa Fe High School is currently being used as a vaccination site for the first tier of those to be vaccinated.
Yes, I saw that yesterday. So just to confirm then, all staff should still be registering on the Department of Health website as the general public is.
Correct.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Dr. Gonzalez.
Madam President, Dr. Garcia, members of the board, I did want to say, just to respond to Sarah, that Senator Stewart said that there was a group of senators that were going to the governor to see if they could make sure that teachers were in the top tier of getting vaccinated so that we can open up the schools. So, but I also wanted to thank you all for working on grading. I've kind of been going through trying to figure out how this is all going to work. And as Rudy said, there's kids in and out of being online. And I've heard different stories from different kids that I know. And so I'm glad that you're really looking at it. We are in a different world right now, and we need to change some of those practices. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President, on that point.
Yeah, please.
I wanted to ask Dr. Gonzalez if, since you do have access, and what's her title now? Majority Leader or?
Pro Tem.
Senator Pro Tem, President Pro Tem.
Okay. I wasn't sure which position she wound up in. So Senator Pro Tem, that it's not just teachers, it's because I can't open school with just teachers. So school-based people first round, and the bus drivers, and sometimes people forget, right? That it's the buses and bus drivers and nutrition workers, but any way you can help keep that in our consciousness, we really appreciate it.
I will.
Thank you.
And on the point of the vaccine, I just want to reiterate sort of what Board Member Bozé touched upon, and was on a call that the mayor is hosting around the community task force around COVID response earlier, that featured the Chief Operating Officer, Teresa Casados, today. And there was a lot of talk about the communications and the skepticism around the vaccine. And we've seen a lot of that in national press because, of course, historically, Black and brown populations have not been incredibly well treated by the medical establishment. And there's a long history of all that. But just to say, anything we can do to share information and educate folks about the vaccine and what they need to do, particularly among staff members. But it would also be great just because, we do have such a large community to share that even with our families and that sort of thing. But in particular, I'm hoping we can continue to actively share information with the team of people that work in the Santa Fe Public Schools. And it just seems like we can't say enough about what needs to be done, and as much as we can do to let people know that there has been a lot of testing and review of the vaccines to ensure their safety for the public.
We will. That's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Okay, anything else from the board? Thank you, Mr. Chavez, Ms. Romero. That was very helpful, and just to echo what some of my colleagues have said, but really glad you're looking at this so intentionally and so thoughtfully. We're, of course, in uncharted territory. And to say, I did receive an email today from my child's teacher about turning cameras on and communicating if that was an issue. So it's happening, and there's a lot of different scenarios out there, and I appreciate your flexibility and continuing to look at the best practices and all the things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Romero, Mr. Chavez.
Moving on to our action items, Roman numeral 10 on the agenda. Starting with the consent agenda, which is relatively light for the items in it today. Anyone have any questions? And if not, is there a motion?
Madam President, make a motion for approval for item A.
Second that.
Thank you, Secretary Garcia. Dr. Gonzalez, any further discussion? We'll do a roll call vote on the consent agenda. Secretary Garcia?
Yes.
Dr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Board Member Bose?
Yes.
And the president votes yes. Consent agenda has passed.
Thank you, Madam Superintendent, members of the board. Madam
You're the
Superintendent.
superintendent.
Who am I? Madam President.
Okay, moving on to item B under our action items, the Vista de la Sierra Development Land Donation Resolution and Agreement. Dr. Garcia.
Thank you, Madam President, members of the board. Mr. Romero or Ms. Wagner?
Thank you. I'll go ahead. If you'd like, Ms. Wagner? Okay. I'll just read from the cover page that Branch Family Holdings Limited Liability Corporation, which is under contract to purchase the Beatty property at the southwest corner of Richards Avenue and Governor Miles Road, through annexation into the city of Santa Fe, is required to dedicate 3.14 acres school site to the Santa Fe Public Schools. Approval of the attached resolution will indicate the district's willingness to accept the land donation once Branch Family Holdings LLC completes the purchase of the property, meets the conditions in the donation agreement, and pending final subdivision plat approval.
And we recommend approval and acceptance of this resolution.
Madam President.
Thank you very much. Yes, go ahead, Secretary Garcia.
This is something that was actually done many, many years ago between previous superintendents, and just for the general public to know where this property is at. It's at the area of Governor Miles and Richards Avenue. And with that, I'd like to make a motion for approval. Item number B.
I'll second that.
I'll second that.
2 seconds.
I'm going to blame your connection, Board Member Bose, but I think Dr. Gonzalez beat you to it.
Works for me.
Yep. Okay, we have a second from Secretary Garcia, or sorry, a motion from Secretary Garcia, a second from Dr. Gonzalez. Any further discussions? And thank you, Secretary Garcia, for outlining what we're doing here. Okay, we'll go ahead and do a roll call vote. Secretary Garcia?
Yes.
Dr. Gonzalez? I think we need a verbal to hear it from you, and you were muted.
Yes.
Thank you. Board Member Bozay?
Yes.
And the president votes yes. Thank you very much. Okay, now we have action item C, organization of the board. So this is that somewhat awkward moment where we elect officers, and as per our new policy, which I'm sure we'll be seeing soon, but from our last meeting, as per Dr. Gonzalez's motion, that we do this in January. And I would suggest that we take the officer positions one at a time, starting with president, then vice president, then secretary. Does anyone else have any other? And I would say we should vote on each of them individually. Or we can talk about it as a package, but does anyone else have any thoughts on how this should go? Secretary Garcia.
I don't have any thoughts how this should go, but I'm ready to make a motion for president. And
Okay.
if it's appropriate, I'd like to have Mrs. Noble as president once again. As a motion.
I will second that.
Can I third it?
Can we just call it unanimous?
I think in this case, yes.
Acclamation.
Let's go ahead and do a roll call vote on the motion that Kate Noble is the president of the board. And I appreciate the nomination and the second and the third and all of your confidence in me in this role. It's gotten easier and I feel good about doing it. So thank you. Secretary Garcia, on your
Yes.
motion.
Yes.
Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Board Member Bozay. You were muted if you voted, Sarah, there.
Yes.
Okay, and I will also vote yes. So that's passed. Thank you very much. And on to Vice President. Any thoughts? Anyone feeling that?
Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Garcia, I'm wondering if anyone has spoken to Vice President Price and has a sense from her about any of that. It does feel a little bit awkward to do this without her participation.
I agree.
It does, and we can always ask our general counsel, you know, if we want to push, you know, we can do this at another time, or we can do this however we'd like to. My sense on this, given that we have not, I don't think, heard much from Vice President Price at this point, was that we might want to go ahead and do this just simply because otherwise we might be indefinitely postponing. And we could nominate Ms. Price for any position and of course vote her into it and then redo it if we needed or wanted to, or if she didn't want the position. But I don't know, Dr. Garcia or Mr. Granada, if you have any other guidance or thoughts for us on this.
I guess, you know, I'm just going to go by practice, and then Mr. Granada can go at it from a point of law. It is possible and feasible for you all to nominate her, vote her in as vice president, if that is the wish of this board. And then when she comes back, she could decline it. we do run into an issue. I mean, it's been, I can't even remember if maybe once, maybe in 3 years, I can't remember if that's ever even happened where the president has not been here. In which case, then I guess the secretary would chair the meeting. So as long as we have a quorum, we could do business. So if that made people feel more comfortable to nominate her and then give her the option to turn it down. But I also recognize that, you know, she has been absent, she has been excused, but you still have to conduct your business. So, I mean, I think she would understand either way. I cannot speak for her regarding this issue. Mr. Granada, you want to try it from a different angle?
President Noble, members of the board, Dr. Garcia, I think it's generally the discretion of the board as to how you would like to proceed. President Noble, as you've described it, I think that's a perfectly fine way to go about conducting the election. And if Board Member Price, as it sounds like you guys want to nominate Board Member Price, and if the vote went that way, and she didn't want to do it for whatever reason, then we could simply revisit this issue at the next board meeting.
Any thoughts, ideas, feelings on how to proceed? It is a tough one. Maybe I'll ask a different question. Is anyone else interested in serving as vice president? You are Secretary Garcia? Okay. Well, I'm happy to nominate Rudy Garcia to be the vice president of the board.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Garcia?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the nomination and the second.
Dr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Board Member Bozay?
Yes.
And the president also votes yes. So we do have a new vice president. And on secretary, anybody feeling inspired to take on that role? Dr. Gonzalez or Board Member Bozay?
I'll nominate Sarah Bozay.
Okay, I'm happy to second that. Any further discussion? If you want to object at this stage, Board Member Bozay, I think you should. If you don't want the role, it does involve signing a lot of things. The secretary, you know, that does mean a certain amount of the signing stuff.
So yeah, just remember, Secretary designate or possible elect is you have to sign every single diploma. That's you have to sign, that's roughly your name's on that diploma. You have to sign probably about 800 diplomas. So and that doesn't include the bond, the general obligation bond stuff, which every paper. But
there you go.
Yeah,
good thing. Yeah, you do a good job with it. I'm just saying it's very good.
Fair warning.
No, you'll do good.
Okay, ready for a vote? Let's see, Vice President Garcia.
Yes.
Dr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Yeah.
Board Member Bozay. Did you say yes, Sarah? Sorry.
Yes, my phone cut out, but yes, thank you.
Okay, and
Very
I
honored.
also vote yes. So we do have new officers. And that was one of the easier things. It's not ever been my favorite thing that we do on the board. Okay, moving on to board discussion and possible action. Anybody have anything they'd like to put on for future agendas? Of course, now is not the end all be all for that. You can always let us know. All right, moving on to advanced planning. Is there a CRC meeting on Wednesday and a joint meeting on Thursday next week?
That is correct, Madam President. So
Okay.
you'll have 3 meetings. Well, yeah, you'll have this one and then study session next Thursday, and then you have your regular board meeting on the 21st.
So I'm sorry, is next week, I had in my head that the 14th was the joint session between the CRC and the board.
That is correct.
Okay, that is correct. Anything else on advanced planning to change or adjust? All looks pretty good for now. The audit committee, it looks like, is not meeting in January, but will reconvene in February. Okay, anything else on advanced planning?
Not that I know of at this time, Madam President.
All right. Well, with that, we've come to the end of our agenda in reasonable time. Thank you all very much for being here. Anything else? Final thoughts?
Yeah, Madam President, I just want to thank the board for their amazing service. You guys, give so much of your time, and it's, a real pleasure for the staff and myself. I know I speak for all of them. We enjoy working with you, and we really appreciate the efficiency of our meetings, and I think we get a lot of good work done. And congratulations. First of all, I want to thank Ms. Price, for serving as Vice President. We will thank her when she comes, and Mr. Garcia for your service as Secretary, and Ms. Noble for your leadership as President. And congratulations to the officers. I look forward to working with Ms. Bose and Mr. Garcia in their new roles, and I appreciate the partnership that we have in working together, Madam President. I look forward to continuing to work with you in that role. And to the members of the board, thank you for your commitment, and congratulations to all of you.
Thank you very much for those kind words. All right. Thank you all very much. We will see you next week. Good night.
Bye, guys.
Good night, everybody. Be well.
Be well.